You don't need a mold or hundreds of dollars to make a tube. All you need is a pen. Most people think the only way to make a tube is through buying an injection mold, which is going to be costing you guys at least $150, if not more, or to just go to the store and buy several bags of tubes at several dollars a pop, which if you've ever fished a tube, you know they rip apart pretty easily, so it's going to end up costing you a lot of money either way. But today's video, I'm going to show you guys a little DIY trick on how to make your tubes at home for very cheap with just using some plastisol, a pen, and a few simple steps. You don't need any mold or any fancy gear, and they will actually catch fish. So let's get into it. Here's what you'll need today. All you'll need is your pen, some plastisol, and if you don't have any plastisol hanging around, just go find some beat up baits of yours and melt those down. That'll work perfectly fine. You're also going to need some Pyrex cups. I'm going to be doing 2 different colors today, so that's why I got 2 out here. You're going to need some worm oil, or any type of oil would work. You just need that to put on your object, which I'll explain a bit farther later. And yeah, that's all you need. So I'm going to heat some plastic up, and then I'll meet back with you guys. Alright, our plastic is all heated up, so I decided I'm going to go with one natural color. So I'm going to do a green pumpkin 109 from Lowerworks with some black and red flake. And I'm going to do a bright color. So I'm going to do a chartreuse pepper by mixing this chartreuse and watermelon from Lowerworks. So I'm going to do 1 tube in each color, and then I'm going to do a double dip too. So I'm going to dip it in the bright chartreuse first, and then dip it in the natural green pumpkin red flake. So let's start making them. There we go. Got our flake. There we go. Very natural color. Looks really good. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Alright, so this one again is going to be a chartreuse pepper, so we're just going to mix some of these. There we go. And then we'll do a few drops of some watermelon. And then a little bit of some black flake. There we go. It's a nice greenish yellow chartreuse color with some black flake in there. And pretty good. Alright, our colors are all set. I'm just going to pop these back in the microwave. We'll vacuum them out really quick, and then we can start making our tubes. Alright, we are all heated back up, so we are ready to start making the tube now. And this is going to be when you'll need your warm oil, or any sort of oil that you got. You're going to have to put it on the object that you're using. And just spread it around a little bit, because if you don't do that, then you're never going to be able to get that tube off. It's going to be all stuck to it. It's just going to tear up. So I'm just going to do that first, and then I'll start off with the green pumpkin red flake. Just going to dip it in there, twirl it around, pick it up, just let it drip for a little bit, and then keep twirling it. Once it dries a little bit, just dip it back in. And you're just going to keep doing this until you get the desired thickness that you want for your bait. I will say that if your plastisol is a lot hotter, you're going to need to dip it a lot more, just because it keeps dripping off. Obviously, if it's cooler, it's going to put a lot thicker layer on there as well. And if it's thicker, you're going to have an easier time getting some of that glitter on there. But just keep doing that until you get your desired thickness. So I'll meet back with you guys in a minute. Alright, we've got our tube dipped now. So I'm just going to hold it upside down somewhere for a couple minutes. We're going to just hold it if you want. It only takes a couple minutes to cool, so. And then I'll show you guys what to do after that. Alright, I just did the chartreuse one off camera, but I'm going to do the double dip one really quick for you guys. So I'm just going to start off in my chartreuse pepper. Don't forget to put on your oil as well. So I'm just going to do several dips of this, and then several dips of the next color to finish it off. Alright, it's pretty good for that one. Let's So give this another second to cool off. And then start dipping in with green pumpkin red flake. Alright, we've got our double dipped tube done as well. So I'm just going to set those up, the other ones to hang up for a few minutes, and I'll be back with you guys. Alright guys, our tubes are all done drying after hanging up for a little bit. I did have a little bit of tip on both of these two here, but if you got a little tip after hanging it up, just snip it off at the top, make it nice and flush with the tip. And yeah, you may have a little bit of some bumps on the side, but if you want to fix that and you're picky just like me, just grab a heat gun and then just start working on it. You can use a lighter too if you want. Just be careful not to get too close. It'll start dripping off and stuff like that. But that'll definitely help smooth it out. So that's what I'm going to do really quick. I'm just going to show you guys really quick with the heat gun. I just keep it on a low setting so I can get a little bit closer without it all blowing off. Just give it a little bit and it'll start to melt and just make it a lot more flush and smooth around the edges. Same thing for on the tip there, just because I cut it off. It's got some sharp edges, so I'm just going to work on that for a little bit. There we go. You see that start to round off a little bit. That's what we're looking for. There we go. Nice and smooth now. So just let this hang up for a little bit longer just to dry off again. And then we'll pull these off and we'll start cutting out some legs. Alright guys, now that our tubes are all dry again, and nice and smooth and tips all rounded off, I'm going to start pulling them off. As long as you lubricated it earlier, it should be able to come off fairly easily. Still might be a little sticky. There you go. There you go, guys. There's your tube. So, just gonna cut up the legs now. I'm gonna pull off the other two, and we'll just chop off this back end to make it nice and smooth, and then we'll start cutting up the legs. All right, so we got our tube. I'm just going to cut off the back end here, make it nice and smooth, and then you can choose what you want to do. You can either use some scissors, but what I find actually works a little bit better, just to make some more fine cut for the legs, it's just to use a razor blade. Just lay it on the table and just keep going. Nice little slits. Tedious process, but I think it's worth having the more legs in it just to get that extra action in it. Because the action, when you're not doing anything, that's going to get those bites. It's also really hard to just cut them up with a bigger pair of scissors. A little more accuracy with the razor blade. There we go, guys. Tube with all your little tentacles on the ends and give you all that action in the water, even when you're not doing anything. Definitely think it's a little bit easier with that razor blade, but scissors will work perfectly fine. And this thing will definitely catch some fish. Alright guys, here are all the tubes we made today. We got our chartreuse, our green pumpkin, red flake, and then our double dip tube, which is my favorite. That thing looks absolutely amazing. Take only less than 10 minutes to make and probably less than $1 worth of material, especially if you're just going to melt down some old plastics that you had. And it will definitely catch fish. And here's some proof. Fish on tube. There you go, guys. Feels better. There we go. Let's go. Nice. Right down the proof. Oh, that's nice. Nice spot. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope I helped you guys save some money today. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe, as it really helps us out. And let me know down in the comment section down below what kind of bait you guys want to see next. I'll see you guys in the next one.